From RF Smart, this is On Par, a podcast that delves into the very heart of the healthcare system, its supply chain. And here's your host, Sarah Archer.
Hi, welcome back to On Par with RF Smart. My name is Sarah Archer, and I am your host. Today, we are joined by my friends Ryan Zisman and Joey LaRoche, and we are going to be discussing ways that RF Smart helps our customers be successful after their go live. So we're going to talk all about customer success, which is a passion of Ryan's. I'm so excited to hear him speak about it. But before we get started, I would like to let them introduce themselves. Ryan, I'll let you go first. And you have been on the podcast before.
I've been on the podcast before. This is Ryan. I manage our customer success team. So it's my job to keep customers happy and healthy.
And Joey, you're here too. And you've also been on the podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am. I believe this is my third time. I should be collecting a jacket at this point, I believe. My name is Joey LaRoche. I am our senior product owner for our healthcare vertical, working with our development teams to deliver a continuous stream of new features and enhancements to the product.
Well, thank you guys both for being here today. I'm excited to get into our topic. And as I mentioned, our topic today is around how our customers are supported by our team after their go lives. We've got lots of customers listening who have recently gone live or have maybe been live for a while and may not know about the wonderful resources that are available to them. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those. We have a customer success team, and they can help provide best practices and services that can help keep your facility running smoothly. So Ryan, can you talk a little bit about your role and the tasks of our customer success team?
Or I would love to. What we found is, especially for the customers that went live 2 or more years ago, those customers are unaware that we have new, faster workflows with a new functionality that they could be taking advantage of. So the way that we license our software is by user count, which means all customers have licenses for all workflows. All they have to do is turn them on. And now I get the privilege of managing a team where our job is to help those customers get upgraded to the latest, greatest, fastest workflows.
So give me an example of a time that you were able to identify a process that could be improved for one of our customers.
Here's a slam dunk example for any of our customers that print labels. They're probably familiar with a workflow called Inventory Inquiry O2. And that workflow does 2 things. 1, it lets you see how much available quantity you have on hand for an item. And 2, it lets you print labels for items on hand. However, not until recently have you been able to print labels for new items before you had quantity on hand. And so we have a new workflow called View Out of Quantities. And this workflow lets you see how much you have on hand and lets you print labels for any item, regardless of your current quantity on hand.
And that workflow is available to all users?
And that workflow is available to all customers.
So if they wanted to turn it on, what should they do?
So there is a little bit of configuration that the customer will have to do. It's usually, for this specific workflow, it takes about 30 minutes. If the customer wants to make use of this free offering, they can contact Customer Success OC at rfsmart.com. That's Customer Success OC at rfsmart.com.
What I'm hearing from you is that if our customers want to see a little bit of improvement, a really quick win would be to shoot an email over, spend 30 minutes getting this set up so that they can take advantage. That's amazing. So what are other ways that our team is able to help manage some of these inventory steps? Can you talk about why a customer might want to work with your team to do things such as uploading parse?
I would love to. And there are so many things that we can help with. And what we have found is that although we can easily tell customers, yeah, go turn this on, the benefit customers get in contacting us is that often we see 3, 4, 5, 6 other things that the customer didn't know they didn't know. So for example, our customer success team can help our healthcare customers do par uploads. Oftentimes these customers are having to manage 100,000 line Excel spreadsheet, and that's pretty difficult. Well, our team is full of consultants who are really good in Excel and really good at doing these uploads. So that's one area where we can help. Other functionality includes being able to point your Smart Console testing environments to different Oracle instances. So there's these like small victories all throughout the software that it really helps getting an R Smart consultant involved to look at the workflows, to look at the configuration and help improve the customer experience.
So part inventory is really the backbone of supply chain in a healthcare facility. And so could you share a story or an example of a time that a supply chain issue impacted patient care?
I could share a million. Any par manager or any healthcare employee will know that throughout their tenure, they've had thousands of par related issues. Usually it's a people training problem where the user maintaining that location might add an item in the wrong unit of measure or at the wrong level, or maybe it's a bit more complicated and that item isn't included on a blanket purchase agreement. Or the manufacturer of the item bought the other manufacturer of the item, and now the manufacturer part number in your system is wrong. We see time and again errors that are occurring during the part counting process. Errors due to data integrity, like I mentioned before, errors where the part location is oversupplied or undersupplied. And the best part about working with the customer success team is that we have a staff of people who really understand this data and these issues. They understand how to work in Excel and how to fix your issues as soon as possible. That way, we get the right supply to the right spot at the right time.
Well, you raise a really good point. In the hospitals, these folks are focused on customer service inside that hospital, making sure providers have everything they need. And a lot of that work isn't very Excel intensive. They're following up some supplies, some value analysis, but they're not regularly doing massive Excel imports. As Ryan mentioned earlier, our consultants, that's their bread and butter. That's something that fits into their expertise, and they're able to do it a lot more effectively and efficiently than someone who does not do that on a regular basis. So we're able to come in and ensure a much more smooth process for those kinds of updates and implementations.
Every one of our customers has a story of not being able to order supply because of a technology issue. Their staff did everything right. Their staff did everything they were trained to do. Sometimes you don't have time to train staff because they're temporary employees and they turn over every 3 or 4 months. And it's just really hard to keep your data clean to ensure that there are no issues in ordering. So we've seen things on both ends of the spectrum where I walked into a part closet and it seemed like they were having a going out of business sale where they had no items in their room. I'm seeing it on the other end where they've been overstocked because their indexes were wrong in a small little part closet. They said no space. They had supplies literally everywhere. So just issues up and down, left and right, where our team can really help improve those processes.
So something that we also offer is on-site health checks, where our team comes out and is able to see what's going on in your facility and offer suggestions to optimize your processes, improve your understanding of the product, and even just lead to overall better inventory management practices. Ryan, you've been on a lot of these health checks. You're working with our customers day in and day out. And Joey, I know that you've been along as well. You've gone on site to many of our customers. And so, Joey, for you, from the product's perspective, why is it so important that these health checks happen?
Thank you so much for that question, Sarah. From a product side, I absolutely love these health checks. They make me confident that the solutions that my team is developing are going to find their way out to a customer. Often in SaaS products, when you go live at the implementation, you get the latest and greatest at that time. So one of the benefits that customers and other organizations that don't have this team lose out on is with a product like this, we're constantly adding new and better features. And Ryan is what connects the work that my team is developing and putting out there with getting it to our existing customers and getting them, ensuring that they're getting the maximum value from the product they purchased.
So I'm a runner, I run races, and every once in a while, I will check in with a coach that I have, and he helps me with my form, and he takes a look at what I'm doing. And the thing is that when I don't check in with the coach, I'm still running races, I'm still PRing, I'm still having a great time. But there is a chance that when I don't check in with my coach, I might start doing something that in the long term could affect my running form.
Or a brand new pair of shoes that reduces the impact of that run may have come out and you haven't heard about it, but your coach, since that's what they do every day, that's their field of expertise, they're able to relay that information to you and get you up to speed.
So that actually happens. So I think that that's totally right on par with what you're talking about here, right? Is that it's so important to check in with the RF Smart team, to know about new things that are coming out. We send out those monthly product update videos. You can just check in with Ryan's team and say, hey, what could we be doing a little bit better? And then potentially leverage an on-site check-in and have the team come out and see what's going on. Ryan, what about you? What do you see the benefit of these on-site check-ins?
Every time we go on site at a customer, we see immediate quick wins to help their experience. And sometimes these quick wins literally save hours a day per person. Let me give you an example. I was on site at a customer just this past month. This customer didn't realize that our multi-line receiving software connected with our delivery software. And so they were manually creating deliveries for every receipt, and they didn't know they had to do that. Well, that manual delivery creation, say that takes 30 seconds, say a minute per PO. Say they're receiving in 300 POs that day. Well, that's an hour and a half of time that they're spending creating something that can very easily be automated. I was at another customer and they were cycle counting on a laptop. They didn't know they could use handhelds. The pattern that we're finding is that every customer would benefit for having an experienced consultant on site just to review what's going on. So because we've done these on-site health checks, I could take that information back to the products team, back to Joey, and he can enhance the software to better support our healthcare customers.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing overall from the benefits of health checks and from the customer support team is really having somebody who has your back. And of course, that's one of our values at RFSmart. We've talked about that on the podcast before, is having our customers back and making sure that we are going crazy for our customers and helping them as they go through their inventory journey. So as we wrap up today, what advice or takeaways would you have for our customers when it comes to utilizing the customer success team?
Thank you, Sarah. The thing that comes to right away to the front of my mind is let us do what we're great at to enable you to do what you're great at.
That's a great point, Joey. And I totally agree that being able to focus on your job and your staff and your inventory while RFSmart helps with the technology piece, just in the same way that you know the most about your business, RFSmart knows the most about our business. And so being able to step in and help with the technology aspect and just having that team to rely on. Ryan, what about you?
Sarah, there are two pieces of advice I would like to give customers listening to the podcast. Number one is email customer success oc@rfsmart.com. Let us start that communication. We don't always know the right person to contact in your business for improving some of the admin tasks and workflows. So if you're listening to the podcast, shoot us an email. Me or my team will get back to you with practical next steps. The second takeaway is ask to schedule a health check. We are seeing time and again how valuable these are for our customers. And so if you have not yet had a health check in the last year, reach out to us and let's get that on the calendar so we can help you improve your inventory processes.
So Ryan, our listeners might be thinking, well, I'm so busy. How much time do we generally spend doing these? And what value do you think our customers see from them?
Generally speaking, it is a 6 to 8 hour commitment one day on site. What my team does is we sit with the receivers, with the pickers, with the counters, with the maintenance team, and we follow a day in the life. Usually from that day in the life, we find several pages worth of tasks that will immediately improve their usage, as well as I often find a enhancement or two. I can come back to the products team and say, hey, let's get this on our roadmap to support the client experience.
So great. And my advice to all of you is to watch the monthly product update videos. So for instance, the view item quantity function was featured in the last one of those updates we did. And so you are able to see what is coming out and what's going to come out from those videos.
And Sarah, where can our customers find those monthly updates?
They can find them in their emails. And if you are not receiving the emails, you can email info@rfsmart.com and we'll make sure you get added to those lists. So Ryan, what is a current initiative that your team is working on?
One of our initiatives is that we are actively reaching out to customers using old versions of workflows. If you have not got an email from customer success oc@rfsmart.com, and you think you're using an old workflow, then we probably have the wrong person in our system for who to contact. So please shoot us an email and we'll update your contact. That email again is customersuccessoc@rfsmart.com.
So Ryan, another thing that your team has been doing is a customer support training webinar. So that is an hour of dedicated training time that is applicable to our customers. You and I have done a couple of these together now. What is coming up on those webinar topics, and where can they get access to recordings? Because we record all of those as well.
So this year we've done one on receiving and one on picking. We'll end the year with one on counting and one on issuing and crediting. And if you missed the first 2 webinars, shoot us an email and we would be glad to share with you those recordings. If nothing else, the recordings are a great way to see what the workflow could be like, because in those webinars, I'm showing all of the newest bells and whistles that may not all make sense for your business, but a lot of them will. And it's a lot of cool new stuff that we have to show you.
Thanks so much for being here today. I want to let those of you listening know that you can subscribe to this podcast at rfsmart.com/onpar. You can get email subscriptions so you never miss out on your favorite healthcare inventory management podcast, as well as you can subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Thanks so much to Joey and to Ryan, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Ryan, one more time before we go, what is the email address that our customers can email if they'd like to connect with customer success?
Sarah, one more time before we go. That email again is customer success OC for Oracle Cloud, customer success OC at rfsmart.com.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you soon.